Welcome back to Derrieres, and today we're going to figure out what to do with all that goat's milk. For one thing, we're going to start with making some feta cheese. Let's do it. All right, we have the frozen goat's milk thawing. I put it in double broiler there and hooked it up to the sous vide. We need to get to 86 degrees. That's when we can start doing milk, and it's going to take a while for this stuff to thaw anyway, so I just put it at 86 degrees, and when it gets there, and we'll tend to it then. Okay, I got it thawed enough to get it out of the jugs and get it back into the pot. So we need to get it to 86 degrees. We're at 82.4. So we're gonna wait for a little bit longer. All right, we're gonna check the temperature, see where we're at. 86, oh, we're good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is stir in the buttermilk. All right, we have 1/4 cup of buttermilk, cultured buttermilk. It's been sitting out about an hour, so it's at room temperature. Okay, I'm gonna stir this buttermilk in here, 1/4 cup of buttermilk for 1 minute. Make sure it's good and stirred in well. Then we're gonna cover it up for 1 hour. Okay. The lid on it. All right, now we're adding 1/4 cup of water and 1/2 teaspoon of calcium chloride. And we'll mix that up really good for 1 minute. Alright, get the rennet together, and I'll be back and we'll get that in there. My 1/4 cup, I just put the rennet in there. I have a little 1/4 teaspoon here. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I always go just a little bit under 1/4 cup of water, that way I have room for the liquid that I'm putting in there, the extra liquid. Alright, put that in there. And then I have to stir this for 1 minute and no more. After I get 1 minute in on it, I put the lid on it and it sets for 45 minutes. Cheese is very particular, but it's really relaxing as well. Got about 25 more seconds here. Get this mixed in really well. When I get to my last 10 seconds, I kind of just stop the whole pot here and try to steal it. Now we'll put the lid back on and we'll wait for 45 minutes and then we'll be back. Okay, our time is up and I'm going to check for a clean break. So I'm going to come in here. Oh yeah, see this? See how the whey comes up in that crack there when you do that? That's perfect. There's whey sitting on top of it, really. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. See if I can, can't really see too good. My lights are at my sister's house, so you guys, there you go. You can kind of see it sitting on top of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this and kind of cut the curd. Can you hold that please for me? I'm gonna go like this, and about 1 inch slices. Too short to even see up in here. Okay. This is gonna be a different one because this pot's sitting sideways. But at least it'll be easier to do the horizontal cuts. The ones that go inside the other way. Okay. All right. I'm cutting the curd. Okay, and then I'm going to twist it this way, and I'm going to kind of go at an angle like this. Kind of get it that way. And then this way. Okay, people. All right. And then as we go along, I'll break it up as needed. Okay, so now, oh my gosh, I cut it, and so we're gonna put the lid back on it for 5 minutes. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, now I have to stir these slowly. So I'm gonna get under there. I'm gonna try to get this pot sitting back up straight. You're supposed to not try to not shatter the curds. So you're just kind of moving them a little bit. Some of them need to be cut anyway, but it's real easy to do that when you see a real big chunk. By the time we get done, it'll all be in little pieces anyway, just so you know. But see, like these real big chunk ones. Trying to figure out how I can use this sous vide best. I'm gonna have to find a pot that isn't this big. My other pot wasn't big enough, and I couldn't get the sous vide between this pot and the other pot, so we'll just get it worked out sooner or later. Basically, I'm just moving this, and basically what it does is it makes the whey release from the curd, is what's happening. We're trying to get as much of the whey out as we can for now. And we're also trying to keep the curds from sticking together too much. So we're going to do this for 5 minutes, and then we're going to put the lid on it again, and it's going to set for another 20 minutes. And then more of the whey will come out of the curd. And I think I'm going to pull it out of the double boiler here. And just let it sit on the stove. Yeah, that one's a little big. You can see it right there. So I'll just cut that like that. Try to go from the bottom up carefully. This is feta, you know, so this is all going to be little pieces anyway till we get done, but it's just a lot easier to be careful with it though, so you don't end up with some runny stuff. All right, I took the lid off, and we're going to stir it again for 5 minutes. We do this again, guys. We stir it for 5 minutes, and then it rests for another 20. So that's what we're doing. It just keeps on releasing all that whey. Wish I had a better light for you. Next time I will. Okay, I got another minute. I'll see, about 3.5 minutes left to go here, and then I'm going to put the lid on it and let it set for another 20. So we'll be back when we're finished with that part. All right. I'm ready to put the lid on, and it will sit here for another 20 minutes. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, we're just about there. Feta cheese is one of the easiest cheeses to make, other than probably ricotta, which I'm going to make ricotta from the whey here that's left over from the feta. When we get done with this, it's going to have to sit for 3 hours, and then I will flip it, and it'll sit for another 3 hours. So right now I'm going to get it out of the pan and put it in the molds. So I'll show you how I do that. I'll loosen it up a little bit here. First of all, make sure there's no big old hunks, and there's not. It stayed in bigger pieces than I thought it would, which bigger pieces than it normally does, but okay. And then you just go in there and get it like this. then I'm going to kind of move it around a little bit. I wanted to make a kind of rectangular one so that I can cut it into some squares for Christmas gifts. So that's the idea behind that one. And then I might just put it all in there. That would be nice, but I think I'll put more in that one than the other one. But like I said, it will reduce by 2/3 probably. I'll trade places with this one. There we go. All right. I'm gonna get that smaller one, I think. Here it is. Even it out a little bit. I'll scoot this forward and I'm going to pour the rest of this in here. And make sure I keep an eye on my way so it doesn't overflow in the bowl. Try to get as much as I can inside this one. There we go. And waste a knot, want not. Get it in there, girls and guys. Okay, I just want to tell you, if you're going to make cheese, get this pot soaking as soon as you're done. Get it cleaned up, because when the stuff dries, it's murder getting it off. It is terrible. So get it soaking as fast as you can. I'm going to try to get this kind of evened out on top a little bit, like that. And I'm just going to push it down a little bit. This will probably be really thin too. Probably make a pretty thin little cake. I'll scoot that one back, and then we're going to go to this one. And look at this one. I'm going to kind of push it down a little bit too. There's just something there. I don't like whatever that was. I don't know if I'm seeing stuff. I keep thinking I'm seeing this spot, but I'm not, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna push this down. There you go. It's gonna drain. It'll go down further. We'll come back and check on it in about 3 hours. All right, I'm getting ready to flip these guys here. I got my ripening box for when I get done at midnight, ready and set up, because I have to be quiet about it. My hubby's got to get up like at 4 to go to work, so I need to be quiet. But anyway, I am going to flip these burgers over, and when I get done flipping them, I'll let you see what they look like on the other side. Maybe I can get Kane in here to hold the camera for me. We'll see. I'm going to save this. I've got so much going on today that I'm going to save the whey for tomorrow. Stick it in the fridge. If I don't spill it all over the place anyway. Wonder how much we'll get. That's the dangerous part, is the beginning. When there's no weight in the bottom of the jug to keep it in place. Spooky. Couple little chunks in there. I'm not going to put that in there. All right, that's not bad. That's a pretty good little amount. I mean, so out of a gallon of goat's milk, this is how much whey we have left over. And that's how much curd we have. So this is going to really reduce itself. We'll see how much we have left when we get done. All right, I'm going to flip this, and then it'll have another 3 hours go, and I'll get up at midnight and change it. If you're going to do this, you have to make sure your hands are clean. It's pretty on one side, see? And the other side will look just like that when I'm done. You just put it back in there. Get it down on the bottom real good. And there you go. And then let's do this one. I've never used this one before, so we'll see how this goes. There we go. That's cool. Then we're going to lay it in there the same way. Make sure it fits down in there good. There's the other one, see? All right, we're going to keep letting them drain another 3 hours, and then we'll be back. All right, we have flipped the cheese for 3 days, twice a day, and salting it on each side every time we flip it. Now we are going to make the brine for it to stay in while it's in the fridge until I use it over a 6-month period of time. Okay, the recipe I have is for a 1/2 gallon of purified water. I'm going to do this in a quart jar instead, so I'm going to half this recipe again. And I have a gallon of water here. I'm going to bring it almost all the way to the top because I have some salt to put in it and stuff. So it also takes, for a 1/2 gallon of purified water, 6 ounces of uniodized salt, 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, and a 1/2 teaspoon of calcium chloride. But because I'm doing half, I'm doing a quart of the water, 3 ounces of the salt, and then I'm doing a tablespoon or a 1/2 tablespoon of the white vinegar, which I have to get that. All right, I have my vinegar, and I'm going to put in 1.5 teaspoons. There we go. And then we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of the calcium chloride, which is exactly what I have here. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to get a lid on this and shake it up until all that salt is dissolved. It doesn't really take that long to do this. Usually I boil my water, but yesterday when I got done boiling the water, even though I cleaned my pan like 6 times to make sure that it was clean and very clean, after I got done boiling it still had stuff from the water in the pan. So I was like, I'll just use my distilled water. That way I know it's clean and not got anything in it from the well. Okay, I'm going to set that aside here. So now, let's set these aside as well. Okay, now, it's starting to dry out, so it's a good thing we're doing it now. I'm going to cut this into pieces and put it in here, and that's why I have the second jar, because I'm going to pour 1/2 of this water in there. There we go. So I'm going to start with a square here and cut it in half. And I'm going to cut them in about 1-inch cubes, actually, because that's how I use it. I pull out about 3 cubes to a salad, and that's how I use it. So, also you can put these in pint jars and put some olives with them if you wanted to. My sister absolutely loves the feta cheese just like I do, and so does my mother, so we will eat it up on salads and on those spinach pies, which I did a recipe for that on Grit and Gumption. And go check that out on that channel. Hopefully I'll be able to get all these in here. I can add a little bit more when I'm done if I need to, but I think I'm going to be able to do it. Let's hope. Be getting it to the very top, it looks like. All right, and then we'll just fill the rest of it up with some more till it covers it. There we go. All right, then you just put that in the fridge and it's good for 6 months. So now I'll probably continue with this one. I'm probably going to cut this one in quarters. I don't know if it'll fit through the top. If it doesn't, then I might cut it down a little bit more. Yeah, it'll fit, but I think I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more anyway. So we'll go 8. At least it keeps its pretty texture on top that way. I mean, might as well show it off if you can, right? And after all, it is pretty. Put all that time and effort into it. All right, so hopefully I can get these little boogers in there. Go 2 upside down. And then the next one's the pointy parts up. If I need to make some more brine for this, which it looks like I'm going to have to, just no big deal, I can do that real quick. Let's see, put these this way. Yep, perfect. And then I will make some more brine. So that's not too bad. Probably about a quarter of the recipe this time. So, and that turned out pretty good. So, anyway, that's how you do feta cheese. It's fairly simple to do. So it is a lot cheaper than making it at the store, especially if you have your own goats, goat's milk. But anyway, this, like I said, will last in the fridge for up to 6 months. I've had it last a little longer even and eat it and it's still fine. But that's a lot of feta if you're just using it for salads. But like I said, the one jar will be probably just for some more of those spinach pies I make. But I hope you enjoyed this little recipe. Take care.